This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, just to reiterate, we've just called the meeting to order for September 12th, the Select Board meeting. Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good. Thank you. Right, so this meeting is being recorded, and Easthampton Media usually comes in the following day, so Monday they would come in and pick up the card on this most likely and then get it posted online. So everybody will have a chance to watch it at some point early next week. So first of all, thank you all for coming to the meeting, both members of Select Board and various guests that are here tonight. Much appreciated coming in on a Friday. I know this is a little bit unusual, and I take full blame and responsibility for interrupting your Friday evening here. But as you know, we had our first quarterly meeting with Select Board and FinCom on Tuesday, and that's going to be the first of a regularly scheduled meeting every quarter, which is something that probably should have happened a long time ago, but with Scott here, we've decided to push forward and make this happen. It was really good to have a full FinCom group to be talking to, and I really do just appreciate all the members of Select Board and FinCom that have stepped up to be volunteers. We are not paid, as some people may think. Volunteers that volunteer our time and our perspective and our expertise on whatever the issue may be. So I really do appreciate your efforts, and especially a couple of people that have juggled time schedules and work schedules to get in from vacation times and business times, etc. So thanks for being available. So I think we had a very informative discussion on Tuesday. We may not all agree, but I think we know that it's always helpful to hear a variety of viewpoints. And this is really the first time that we've been together looking at our financial situation in a very comprehensive way. And so I really, first of all, would like to thank Scott for the time putting it together. It was a very clear, albeit maybe bleak picture of the challenges ahead. I think from my perspective, we've known about some of the problems in our health insurance costs over the last few weeks, I guess I would say, especially, but we had pretty much received either incomplete or inaccurate, I think inadequate as well, information, especially about the amount of it that was going to be charged, as well as the timing. So I think it was really important to have this kind of a reality check. It was a lot to take in and digest, especially in terms of implications for staffing and maintaining the services of Town Hall that all of our residents expect. So I wanted to take this chance to take a few minutes and come back to this issue of moving forward with the special town meeting on September 30th, and especially with John being back in town. So we have a full Select Board because we were 3 last time, so we had our quorum. But I felt myself that we could be rushing into just an arbitrary date, and I really wanted to sit down and hash it back through. If you recall, the date for the special town meeting was set pretty much at the request of the Senior Center Building Committee, who wanted to have that article on the warrant. We had been talking about having a special town meeting all year long. That was not unknown, and having the Senior Center on the warrant in the fall was not necessarily an unknown either, but I don't know that we would have had it this early in September. The reason it had to be that date is because we have a requirement to go to a ballot vote after a special town meeting when we're trying to do a construction project or things like that, and I believe we had a 35 or 40-day time frame between special town meeting and the ballot vote. So that, in order to get any kind of an election done, a special election before Thanksgiving, kind of backed it up into the ending of September for this. But to my mind, that's not the only reason to really consider the special election timing right now, given what we've heard. And I just wanted to take time to figure out if we're all in agreement with that. We did go ahead with the warrant, recommend that we move forward with the warrant because we did have a quorum present on Tuesday, and I wasn't sure that we could get ourselves all together again before the warrant has to be posted on Monday, which is our deadline. So given that everybody is back in town, I wanted to ask us to come together and hash this out. I know I spent a long time kind of digesting the information I heard and found it very sobering. And I guess I would like to hear from both Stephen and Ellen who were here, and then John, I don't know if you had a chance to even look at the video since, but just your general thoughts about, what did you think of the meeting and where do we think we might want to go here? I mean, Ellen, you got any particular thoughts?
As you said, what we heard about the picture is not great. Looking forward, and certainly the elephant in the room is the senior center. The vote on that. It didn't surprise me that FinCom voted to not support that going forward. I too spent a lot of time thinking about that after that, and fully understanding, fiscal pragmatism. They need to go down that road. They were split 2-2. Understand that, but I still felt that some of the comments that were made were a little dismissive of the senior population in Southampton. It was definitely, I don't even know why we're doing this. I don't know why this is even a possibility. And even beyond just the fiscal pragmatism, I think it may just be symbolic, but I feel that we have to hold some responsibility to our seniors and show. It's easy to just vote everything down. Obviously, like I said, this is probably largely symbolic because we seem to have voted down for the schools, voted down for the safety, voted down for the senior center. But I still think that even symbolically that we should go forward and still support that project, and that's how I came out of that meeting.
Steve?
Where to start? We're in a completely different space than we were headed into the annual town meeting last year. Many issues outside of our control. Insurance, we're just one member of a large group, even though it's sort of a local, regional group. And with the school override not passing, we're in a very bad place, really not taken care of. We've made such strides with general government in so many ways, policies, procedures, and wage scale. Schools, it's kind of a remote control thing, especially when we get to the regional school. Certainly at budget time, it's a black box, comes to us at the very end, says here, this is what you gotta pay. And we're the 60% shareholder. It's very, very difficult. I feel strongly we've got to get further along in managing our core responsibilities. That said, I think all of the prospective uses at Southampton Commons are meritorious, have been thought through very thoroughly by a large group of unpaid neighbors, citizens. When I read various places about pockets being lined and nefarious motives, I'm so done with that. We absolutely need a senior center. Do we need it first or more than a public safety building? No, we need them both. And schools are an everyday thing. Sure. So
School's not going away in terms of its needs. I mean, that's very clear. I mean, we're, because of all the situation of this last budget cycle, I mean, we will be facing an equally challenging budget coming forward. And I think now we know, so since our last meeting, school committee has met, and so we knew that we would have sort of whether it's not necessarily mid-year, but we would have the assessment for the health insurance increase for Hampshire Regional, as well as Norris's contribution to the central office, I believe, as well as Hampshire Regional, and the figure now has come out just yesterday, I believe, Scott, at your meeting, the school committee meeting, at $230,000, right? So that is $230,000 for Hampshire Regional on top of the assessment that we normally pay. and that is totally unbudgeted. So we are walking already in a, you know, a slippery slope here, right?
And that 229,000 rounded to 230
Yeah.
is on top of the rounding $300,000 impact to the town
Correct.
for Norris and
And town employees,
employees.
town hall employees, right, yeah.
right, which
Yeah,
is a whole separate issue.
Right.
The fact that more people are not outraged and screaming from the towers about what that collaborative did. In May, they said, you need a 20% increase. Okay, we did it. I'm not even talking about our OPEB
No,
or our
no.
unfunded pension liabilities
Right.
from multiple decades before that people before we were on the select board forced us to deal with, kicking the can down the road, which is very common in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, said you got to do a 20% increase. We did it. And we did it to the extent that we had to, in a roundabout way, Norris paid the price, our elementary, our kids, our most vulnerable population, to pay that 20%. And then 45 days into the new calendar, or new budget cycle, they say we need another 20% increase,
yeah.
which ends up being a 44% increase. And the fact that those trustees and those fiduciaries have yet to be held accountable. And as of August, that trust is upside down by round numbers, $2.9 million as of yesterday's public meeting. And we have to deal with it. Now, could we go with the GIC? Sure. The GIC is just as bad. They had a deficit of $700 million
They got bailed out though.
because the legislators, that's where their insurance is.
Yeah,
My opinion, you know, so they get bailed out, so maybe we should go there, but that's a whole nother issue. But the fact is, the town has difficulties, which is fine. It's growth, and we have to determine as a town, as a population, where we want to go with things. But the fact that our budget cycle works the way it does, and then we're 45 days into our new budget cycle, and it's like, oh, by the way, we need another $500,000
Right.
between the town and the Hampshire Regional
Correct.
Assessment.
yeah.
And do I think we need to address the issue with the Council on Aging? Absolutely. Do I think we need to address the issue of public safety? Absolutely. Do I think our infrastructure? We have, no one's talking about the Pomeroy Meadow Bridge that we have an order from the state that we have to do something about, and we have Easthampton, love our neighbors, that says, oh, I'm sorry, we don't own any of that, so you've got to pay 90% of it. You know, as far as I'm concerned, abandon the bridge, throw up the barriers, and shut off that road. Because we don't have the $2 million or $1 million to pay for that bridge.
Right.
So what are we going to do? Where are we going to prioritize?
Yeah.
Now, at the meeting that was voted, you know, Stephen made the motion, you know, Ellen seconded it, so there was a motion, a duly made motion, seconded, we had to go for it, and I voted for it. And what I said there is, whether I support the COA or not, and the ultimate, all things being perfect, I support the COA going forward. But it's up to the citizens to decide whether or not we do that. So I will support anything that puts a ballot question out there. Let the population vote on it instead of the four of us, right? Because we're short one person for it. But everything being equal, I think we need to, my personal take is, as a citizen, not as a select board member, we need to pause, we need to regroup, and we need to prioritize. And, you know, my thought is, I mean, my number one priority is the vulnerable, and in my mind, that's the kids. We have a public safety issue. Could we go a couple more years with our existing buildings? Probably. What it is, I mean, is it the firehouse that predates the Civil War?
Right.
So, okay, it's lasted this long, maybe we can go a little bit more. And we're really good at saving cellar holes. So as long as the population's okay with that, we can do it, because we're not talking about a paid fire department, right? We're struggling to even get to paid EMS.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
And the whole public safety issue of that, and then our infrastructure, and then our council on aging, this all needs to be done.
Yeah.
But the fact is, we have limited amount of money currently.
Yeah.
We're upside down by $2 million. round numbers, in the next budget, which $2 million is a 10% impact, because we're a $21 million budget.
Yeah.
And we need to come up with $2 million.
Right, no, it will be. I mean, by the time we figure out the insurance costs and then some of these other unknown figures, and that's my concern, is that we are,
And
it feels to me like we may have other things coming at us in the next month that we don't even know that are out there. I mean, I feel like the information that we got about this extra 20% increase at mid-year, or now, essentially, we didn't hear about that until what, third week of August, maybe? Something like that? We'd already set a date for the special town meeting. So, I mean, all this it's constantly changing, and I don't have a lot of confidence in the fact, whether we have all the facts of what else may be out there. So in my sense, I really feel like I would like to recommend that, I mean, I think public safety, I mean, I agree with you. Education's very important. Public safety improvements and a new center are important. Senior center, equally important. I think our timing is just beyond unfortunate. I mean, there couldn't have been a worse set of facts to come together. I mean, certain things could have been done maybe a few years ago. They weren't. So now they all kind of collided, and it's very
so
unfortunate.
Chris, is your thought that potentially tonight that we may make a motion to reconsider the vote, to hold the special election? And if that's what you're thinking, I understand that as it relates to question 1. But what would be the impact of question 2? Do we still need to have a special town meeting in order to satisfy question 2? Because we have this $318,000 bill that we have to pay.
My understanding is we need it before the end of the year. So my thinking right now.
Calendar year or fiscal year.
Right, because going into January, I mean, we can scrape together, from what you and Bradley have told me, we can scrape together the funding from various sources right now to cover the bill that will be, or that is due right now for this mid-year 40 or 20%. But we need to have the authorization to do what Article 2 says to do before we get into.
So that's my question is, even if we have the money, legally, can we pay that bill? Because the citizens have not voted to approve that. Or are you using the existing funds?
We're using existing funds.
That's appropriated to do it?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I won't speak for you, that's what I understood, but correct me if I'm wrong.
I just want to be clear for the record.
Yeah. And so what I'm suggesting, I'll just lay it out here. What I'm suggesting is that we actually postpone the date of the special town meeting. I don't think September 30th is that magical, and I will add one more piece. Since the meeting on Tuesday night, the COA held a question and answer session, and then after that they had a regularly scheduled.
Committee, to be clear.
I'm sorry. Correct. The Senior Center Building Committee had a question and answer session at the COA, and then held a scheduled meeting after that. And the video from that meeting Tuesday night had not been posted yet. So, being the select board rep to the Senior Center Building Committee, I was asked what the highlights were, naturally, of our meeting the night before. So I gave some of the same information that I'm telling you now in terms of our cost challenges and our insurance unknowns, and had a pretty good discussion, I think, among the members of the Senior Center Building Committee that were there. They did not choose to take any kind of vote, but there was, I believe, a consensus in the room that they didn't want to do anything that would jeopardize a senior center being built. It's still a need, it's still an important priority. It's still wanted and needed by the seniors of Southampton, and the timing is just not right. So the impression, I believe, and Janet, you can correct me on this, or Dennis, I believe the idea was that they would not oppose the notion of taking the senior center off the special town election this time around, push it off if it has to be another year. It's very unfortunate. I don't like the idea, but I don't think we can afford to spend our energies in so many ways that we're not focused on getting the fiscal house in order and getting a level of operational stability, I guess, that we need to do to make sure that we can run town hall, provide the services people want, that we're not having to lay off people, etc. So my personal thinking is that we postpone the special town meeting to more like November, like we were going to kind of do originally, and take off the Article 1 altogether until a future date in the future date, a date in the future, a future date, when maybe we've got our financial footing a little bit better known and more,
Right.
we get through
pot-
this crisis.
Which
I mean,
potentially could be the regular annual town meeting.
it might, but again, you know, we'll have public safety, I'm not sure where they're gonna go with their thinking too. They haven't really met much since June, I think, so they're meeting again soon, but, you know, I think, you know, everything, everything has kind of collided, as I've said, but I think originally there had never been the intention for senior center and public safety to compete with each other, and that's why, when at one point, I think both were gonna be on the ballot in May, the Senior Center Building Committee decided to let public safety have its day in front of the town and do it with the thought that they would come forward in the fall. And so that's kind of the scheduling, but I think I'm really concerned now that our timing is just too much, too fast, when we really don't know other impacts of things that are going to be happening with the insurance costs, but there may be other things that are coming down the line that we don't even know about. And I don't think any of us want to see, well, I'll speak for myself, I don't want to see us have to cut hours of town hall. We're already only 4 days. If we had to go to 3 days, or if we have to, you know, cut the, you know, treasurer's office to 2 days a week, or the town clerk's office to 2 days a week, or lay off staff, that is something that I hope we all agree that is not something we would want to have happen. And so whatever we can do to focus on understanding all of these financial challenges and getting them laid out well enough so that voters can understand them also and understand where we are. And I just think 2 weeks from now is, or not even, barely, is a rush.
Right, so I don't disagree with you at all, and I think setting aside question 2, which, for the record, question 2 is addressing the immediate health insurance issue of the $300,000 that we need to
Correct.
pay the bill to maintain
Right.
health insurance for existing employees and our retirees.
Yeah.
Right, set that issue aside.
Correct.
I think everything else we can pause, and at the very least, tentatively plan on addressing it at the annual town meeting, where we have time to collectively present to the general populace, here is the state of the union.
Yeah.
Here's where we are. We still don't know what our federal cuts, if any, are going to be.
Correct. Or state cuts.
Yeah, and what that impact is going to be. And today, we anticipate that we have a 10% issue with our budget. We have a $2 million shortfall. So to buy time to articulate, put that together, present it to the public, along with Council on Aging, Public Safety, the override, because, yeah, the override failed, no problem. Norris absorbed that. But contractually, we're not allowed to allow that to sustain. We have to fund it next year. The voters can shut it down, and that's fine. And if they do, the unions will take us to court. That's their right, and no problem. But let's present the case. Let the population, the 6,700 residents of X number that are voters, decide what to do.
Yeah.
And I feel at least trying to fit that in on the regular annual meeting that everyone's expecting, which at that point we'll have the budget, we'll have the impact, and we'll know what it is. Could be better. May we, 30 days, be in a better position to be able to call for another special? Okay, let's do that.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, I think the one thing that comes to my mind, and I'll shut up, let you guys talk in a second here. Scott presented the idea that we'd be looking at, we are going to look at other alternatives to our current health insurance. I think none of us are thrilled about having to stay in this current plan. We're stuck with it through the end of the fiscal year, but looking at both, you know, private insurers as well as the GIC, just to get more informed. Right now, as we're thinking about exiting, we know there's an exit cost, so that's something else that had not been planned for. We'll know that better in another month's time, I would hope. If we were just to decide to go with the GIC, we have to decide that by December, is that right?
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months. So I mean, I think it feels like we will know a little bit more about the insurance, and I feel like the insurance thing is this, I don't know, this weird amorphous thing out there that just keeps moving around, and I can't get my head around it to feel like I'm
Because
comfortable
it's
with it.
that poorly managed.
Right.
Well-
And 8 weeks ago, this was not on the radar.
It wasn't on the radar. It really wasn't.
Not at
So,
all.
No. So I don't know, guys. I mean, my inclination is to say there's no rush. The only reason to have a meeting for the 30th was to be able to fit in the required time for a special election ballot before the holidays. That's the only reason. Everything else on that warrant does not need an election ballot at this point in time.
I'd like to leave on the table the idea that we do have a special before the end of the calendar year, minus question one, minus the election. For the reasons everyone's articulated.
I think we have to have it by the end.
Completely changed.
We have to have it before the end of the fiscal year somewhere, so whether it's early November or wherever it is, but we might, honestly, we may have to, we now have the approval from the Attorney General's office about our bylaw change that would have had, that happened in our May town meeting, and it's taken the Attorney General's office this long to approve our bylaws. They usually have 90 days, this seemed to have taken a little bit longer, but we have the option now to be able to have our meetings other than on our Tuesday night. So we could have a Saturday meeting, for example, which might be better as well, so.
So before anybody makes a motion,
When I said leave on the table, I did not mean table it. I would mostly.
No, I understand.
Yeah. No, I just want to see, Ellen, do you have anything else to say? No? No? Okay.
I'm just going to ask before we make a motion for anything, if the select board doesn't have any additional comments, if there's anybody from the public that wants to be heard prior to making a motion, this might be the time. Madam Chair.
Yeah, no.
I don't have a comment of what you said, John, but I do have a question. I've been signing into the regional meetings, and I understand that they have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on forensic accounting experts to come in to straighten out the situation there. Is that going to be passed on to us? Is that going to be part of the central office allocation that we have to absorb?
So last year's fiscal budget and this year's fiscal budget, the answer is yes. It is supposed to sunset, and they'll complete their work. Southampton is about 160,000 of that should expire and not be charged again. However, they're probably going to recommend, and it's up to the collective school committees, to add an additional position at
That was my next
at central office.
To manage the budget stuff, yeah.
Did you approve that $125,000 accountant from Price Waterhouse that, Darcy recommended? She wanted someone with accounting experience because they needed that level of expertise to kind of...
Right, so I think the position you're talking about, no, that has not yet been approved.
Okay.
It has to be approved by each of the 5 individual school committees first. Kim is now the chair of...
I'm the chair.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I'm the chair of the school committee though, so my understanding of it, after conversation with the superintendent today, is that for fiscal 27, we're not going to have the forensic costs anymore. We're getting rid of those.
Right.
Now, this position that the school committees are going to be looking at a job description to vote on has been in the budget already. It's a budgeted but unfilled position. So that's separate from the forensic money.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago when we came to the towns and said, the forensic money, we're not going to be charging this forever, this should be
Done.
This should be it. As of what I know, at this date and time, for fiscal 27, the forensic accounting cost should not be showing fiscal 27. So if you compare 26 to 27, you have the 26 number, and 27 should say 0.
And we've been carrying that as a separate standalone line item in the collective budget, so so we can see that number.
But the open position that existed in the fiscal office was not at the level that Darcy, is it Darcy?
Dawn
Administrator. Dawn was recommended, they hired. So how are we making up that difference? Where is it coming from?
Well, right now, it's just a recommation from her. No one has acted on it.
She was pretty strong about how desperate she is to get that office straightened out.
Well, and the thing is...
Okay, this is not an agenda item, so we really need to stick to
Sorry.
open meeting law, really, so thanks for those comments. But I think, are we ready to have a motion on the floor? I'm
Are
sorry.
you still taking comments?
We'll take one more comment, but we'll take this as open time.
Around whether or not we
Yeah,
have
no,
a
John,
special town meeting.
I really appreciate it. I think you're doing the fiscally responsible thing if you vote to put off this. I think
Okay.
my concern as a citizen is we're going after these large capital expenditures and we still don't have our house in order. We need to get it in order, we need to explain it to the citizens where we are. I think when people saw all the pieces, then they know you all are acting responsibly, and it makes sense. When we see like a $30 million fire center that seems a little bit large against this other discussion we're having, which
Sure.
is just general operating costs and such, it doesn't make sense. So putting it off makes a lot of sense. I think you need to share with the citizens where we are as a town, but just
Right.
lay it out for them.
Right.
Yeah,
The world
Give them a chance to be
Yeah.
adults and
Yep.
and all work on this together.
exactly. So thank you very much. Okay. So I think if I could take a motion.
So I'll make a motion to reconsider the previous act of this body
Okay.
on holding the special town meeting to rescind that vote
Okay, rescind it.
and rescind that vote and to take it up at a further date when we have additional information.
Okay. So okay, let's have a second first, sorry.
Second?
Second by Ellen, okay. So by rescinding the vote, we're rescinding
We're canceling,
the warrant, we're canceling the meeting on the 30th, and we will go back later on to figure out a new agenda, but right now that's,
and potentially a new agenda will be a special meeting just to handle question 2.
right. I mean, I think
As
I
currently
would,
stated,
I
if we
think,
don't have additional information.
Right.
But yeah.
yeah. Okay, I'd like to go ahead and have a vote on this, but I think I would also like to entertain
Additional motion?
an additional motion. But let's have a vote on rescinding the previous vote to have the special town meeting on September 30th. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, all right, thank you. I think further, because I don't want it left out there as an assumption that we're just gonna keep stringing the senior center along. I mean, I think we need to be definitive and just say, it's either coming on now or it's coming on many months from now. So personally, I would like to suggest that we also be clear and just say that whatever warrant we come up with in the fall, further on in the fall, maybe November, we'll have to set a date at one of our next meetings, that the senior center article, as it was presented here, would not be on that warrant and would be postponed. It's not canceling the senior center, it's not stopping the project per se, it is simply postponing it until we can get our internal finances in order.
Do we need a motion, or do we need the spirit of the select board's intent is to properly and over time prepare an educational piece and the state of the town and potentially address the COA, the public safety, the schools, our health insurance. Make it part of one, not necessarily a big well, actually, I would be in favor of one big package. I mean, here's everything. Now, whether it's a la carte and we can vote on them separately or whatever, but our intent is to...
Well, I think the intent is to not stop any of the projects going forward.
Right, keep it all going, but
keep on going, but
understand, we have to deal with this current issue with the health
right,
insurance.
and so I just want to be clear to anybody who's watching or listening that no matter what we decide on for the warrant going forward for the fall, that the senior center, even at the request of the senior center building committee, does not need to be on it for this fall. They're okay with pushing it off a little bit longer.
But it doesn't mean we're burying it.
No, not
We
at
still
all.
want to get it before the voters at some point.
At some point in time. It's just the wrong time. We've got too many other things that we've got to figure out, and I think the fiscal craziness here is just, it's very unfortunate timing, but we really have to focus on our operational stability for the town and make sure that we can keep the doors of town hall open and keep our employees doing what they do and providing the services to the residents. And both projects are incredibly important, the fire and police station and the senior center, but our timing is really just not very good right now, given all these other factors that have entered our life, okay? So I think I would like to just be clear on that and have that as a motion myself, so. Can I make that motion, or?
You can make that motion
Okay,
if you like.
I'll make a motion. Do I have a second or not?
Well-
If we have a second, just for discussion.
Could you restate the motion?
What was the motion? Okay. What did I say? based on the previous one, where we have rescinded our vote for the town meeting, the special town meeting on September 30th, at a date to be determined, we will have another meeting sometime. We will set a meeting for the fall, but on that warrant, we would not be entertaining the request to fund the senior center building at that point in time. It would be postponed until a later date when our fiscal house is a little bit more clear and we're more confident in our stability. Does that make sense?
Well,
See, that's my understanding, but I don't want to swear it off because tomorrow somebody else dies and suddenly the senior center is fully funded. We would want to be able to engage the process.
Feel free to rephrase it. You got
No, I understand what you're saying. I guess maybe if the motion is the, as of today, based on the information that we're aware of, right, today, it is the spirit or the intent of the committee to move forward with a special town meeting to address other issues. And the fact that the COA at this point will not be on the agenda is not an...
The senior center building.
I'm sorry, yeah, the COA, the Council on Aging new building, is not an indication that we don't support it. Just under what we know right now, it is not the #1 priority. However, we still at some point want to get it
We will
before the
entertain it at a
voters.
later date.
Yeah, we're not killing it,
Correct.
it's not dead forever. It's just,
It's postponed.
it should not be interpreted that it's not going to be on the next town meeting, special town meeting vote, to mean that we're not in support of it.
Correct. That's exactly what I was
Right.
trying to
The
say.
motion felt unduly negative,
Okay.
even with your
Fine.
kind words.
Fine.
And
Willing to be corrected.
I think what we need to do is come forward with comprehensive capital campaign
Yeah,
or
that's-
capital plan
For the town as a whole.
Yeah.
for the town as a whole, including the ordinary things like automatic door openers and dump truck bodies and whatever. But looks at, public safety, senior center, Greenway, whatever our piece of the tab is, and charts that over 10 years.
Yeah.
So if your motion is to document our spirit and our intention, I will second that.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I think that is what I was trying to say. I don't want anybody listening to think that, okay, well, they've just tanked this completely. It's not. It has to be
We're just temporarily delaying.
pushed aside for a bit now.
But
until
ultimately, we want to get it before
Correct.
the voters, so that the voters can decide
Correct.
what to do.
That's correct. Okay. All right. With that, I think we're as clear as we're going to be without trying to rephrase it again. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Good. Motion passes.
Like to see how that gets written in the minute.
Yeah, I'm sure our minutes person is going to have a challenge. Do we have any other comments or business on this for tonight? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right.
Second?
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So our next regular meeting is going to be the 23rd. 23rd. Okay.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.